Mary Sues. Mary Sues can look like anything, to be honest, but in this video I will be using some stereotypes for the designs. But before we get into things, let me explain what exactly a Mary Sue is and the different types. You've most likely seen a Mary Sue before in fanfictions, books, shows, movies, comics, video games, and even roleplay games. They're in other places too. I feel like they can be in any form of media, but those are the things I can think of off the top of my head. But the earliest example of a Mary Sue you've probably seen is in elementary or primary school, where there's this kid that you play pretend with on a playground, and there's one of the kids, even though it's pretend, can't lose. They get shot and magically they have a shield. When you get shot magically, you have a shield, but they can break it. But you can't break theirs because it's unbreakable. You soon realize you're up against Jotaro Kujo. This kid will keep making stuff up to the point it stops making sense and you guys end up playing something else. You avoid pretend games because they make the whole situation about them and somehow always beats their opponents. This doesn't mean the kid was bad or anything, or they were even mean. They just wanted to be unstoppable in a setting that would allow them to be that way. What a Mary Sue is pretty abstract, and honestly I think there are many different reasons to make them. Usually people make them, don't mean to make them that way, and have ideas for great characters, but ultimately when people notice a character is a Mary Sue, they are not liked for valid reasons. So what is a Mary Sue? Mary Sues are perfection. They are never wrong. They are very adaptable, very smart, very attractive, and loved by almost everyone. Mary Sues are usually women, so some of the names that have been used for the male alternate is Marty, Larry, or Gary Stu. Regardless of what gender identity your character has, they too are in danger of being a Mary Sue. There is never one way to be a Mary Sue. The website I reference for everything that I'm doing is ongoingworlds.com. The article is the many different types of Mary Sues. I'll link the article in the description. The first one I'm going to talk about is the Einstein Sue. Most of these Sues are things that I've seen for myself, but I'm solely basing all the Sues that I'm talking about today off of the article. This character is a nerd character, but with extra steps. They are always right. They solve every scientific or historic mystery. If you have magic in the story, then they are Twilight Sparkle. No, I'm not saying Twilight Sparkle is a Mary Sue at all. Twilight had a lot to learn and has shown that just because she's gifted and talented, that doesn't mean she knows everything and always has room to grow. This Mary Sue is annoying though, honestly one of my least favorites. I don't want to name this webtoon because I never finished and I don't know if the main character has changed at all since I stopped reading. But I stopped reading because the main character of this webtoon was so boring. He was a Gary Stu. It was an isekai story, and the issue is not that it's an isekai. I think some isekais are really good, and I know a lot of people don't really like isekais. Bro cannot lose. He can't lose arguments. He's so intelligent. And keep in mind, it's an isekai. And he's never heard of this new world, and he knows jack shit about how this world works. He said himself that the magic was different, entirely different, from the magic that he used in his past life, in this other world, in this other universe. But because before he died, and he's old, he just conveniently knows everything and how to do it. When he trains, it's only off screen. Socially speaking, if he's in an argument, he's always right. People worship him. Why? Because he just has the aura of a leader. People were throwing their lives away and limbs for this man. I was only emotionally invested in literally everyone else because they did not make me care about this man at all. His goal was to have a similar status he had in his past life, and that's it. Who did he genuinely care about? What did he genuinely care about? Where the fuck was his morality when it didn't benefit him? What was his hobbies? I know hate is a strong word, but I hate when human characters are robots. I feel like if you talk to this man in a casual setting, he'd be like, I don't have time for idle chit-chat. I have more important things to do. Bro has no friends because every interaction is a fucking ploy. to get something. You can make a stoic character and have them be interesting. This man has godlike powers, but has the personality of a sock. Anyway, let us get into the drawing of my Einstein Sue. So first off, I just want to say that this Sue or stew, and the reason why I'm saying either or is because I decided to make this one non-binary or genderless or whatever. I wanted them to be very posh. I was inspired by one of my friend's OCs and a list of other things. So far their outfit is very Doctor Strange-esque. I gave them a monocle because why not? Not sure what kind of magic they be doing, so I just gave them a pentagram. And I'm not really sure what this thing is on the shirt, but I decided to add that. I don't know if that's like a tie or a bow or I guess a variant of that. I just wanted to use complementary colors, so purple, different shades of purple, and then I wanted to have green to kind of like have the colors pop out. I will say the line art could have been better. I feel like I can do much better, but like this was the first one, and usually my first one of anything, whether I'm doing like a group or a series of something, is always going to turn out a little quirky, a little wonky. As far as their face goes, I did want to give them a little bit of a scowl just to show how annoyed they are with literally anybody who interacts with them. It could be a harmless question, it could be like, you know, they're supposed to interact with the character because, I mean, they're a human being. Interacting with a character is like kind of like what you need to do, unless you're like, I don't really know, or I don't know what they want. I just wanted to show how irritated they are with everyone and anything. It's just, they're better than everyone else, and anytime somebody doesn't know anything, it's annoying to them. And I went ahead and made them say I don't have time for idle chit chat, which was in my rant about this character, just to kind of show how uppity they are and how they think that they are better and smarter than everyone else. That was like a really weird ramble, I will say that, because like I was making stuff up as I go. It's just trying to explain how this character looks. So here is our Einstein Sue. Next up we have the Copycat Sue. I usually find these in Naruto fanfictions, but apparently you can find them in roleplay too. This character is almost exactly the same as an existing character, which is why it's primarily used in fanfiction. No one in the story will point this out except said character and the copycat. I used to read a lot of Naruto fanfictions as a kid, and it would usually turn out that the character was the main character's sibling. Most of the time, it has the twin sister of XYZ, but sometimes they use older sister, younger sister, twin brother, etc. As long as they're related to a character, because I know there was one that was like my favorite, because it was like an isekai and a fanfiction, and it was like, you were Tsunade and Jiraiya's daughter, and you could predict the future, but you actually couldn't. You literally just watched all of Naruto until a certain point. And it was so weird because I just remembered that I think the author forgot that they did that, because the main character was thinking to themselves, it was just like, oh no, my powers are fading, I'm starting to forget. And it's like, no, you just didn't watch past this season. But anyway, I was never bothered by this when I used to read them, but that's only because I was in school and I'd write similar stuff. I am guilty of it. I think most of the Mary Sues, I'm guilty of making at least one variation of each. There's absolutely nothing wrong with adding a character that's related to a major character. It's the copy part that's concerning. And now let's see the copycat drawing. I wanted to show how enthusiastic the character is because the copycat is of Naruto. Even though this character has never met Naruto, I wanted it to be very, very large similarities. Cat-like, or I guess fox-like appearance, very enthusiastic, similar colors, the whole nine. And I even made her a fox girl, or I actually don't know. I don't know if she's a cat girl or a fox girl. I notice a lot when people are making copycat characters, a lot of the time they just do a gender bend of an existing character. I actually in recent years, I'm gonna say in high school, I saw it a lot with Izuku. Matter of fact, I think the most popular OC like this is Izumi. Izumi is sometimes the gender bend Izuku, and sometimes it's Izuku's twin sister who is a nurse or has healing abilities. I don't know who originally created Izumi, but yeah, I think that's a perfect example of that. I also wanted to add that I literally use the color drop tool for her colors. Okay, the next one is the Jerksu. Unfortunately, this is not Jamaican Mary Sue. This character has the intention of being a rough and tough tomboy that's also a girl boss, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. She, because it's almost always a girl, won't take shit from anyone. So what's the problem? This seems like a good setup for a female character that doesn't conform to traditional standards, and again, if you do, there's nothing wrong with that. Do you? But the issue is that she's actually just an asshole. She's more so a tsundere. I will admit I do have a bias against tsunderes because physical abuse equal I like you is crazy to me. I know it doesn't have to be physical, but if you are constantly aggressive and are rude to me and then you tell me you like me, I'd say you can shove it up. But again, that's my bias. Tsunderes are a large part of the anime community, and I know sometimes they can work, sometimes they are funny, and I know there are some characters that are tsunderes that I actually like. No one ever calls out jerksus, and most of the time they assume that all men are the problem. They usually are mean to other characters to get what they want. I've seen this in webtoons and traditional American comics. They're also, it's weird because they hate men, but they're also a pick-me at the same time because they don't get along with women, specifically women who are really frilly. But I mean, not one size fits all, because I know there are some frilly jerksus. It's just most of the time they're tomboys, they're rough and tough, and the whole nine. But you know, you can also find jerksus in Naruto fanfictions. So let's see our jerksu. I struggled a lot to come up with how she could look because I really had little to no ideas. I just was like, make her a tomboy. And I feel like peak character design is sharp teeth, so I gave her sharp teeth. I really love giving characters sharp teeth. If you make a character with sharp teeth, I think automatically I die for that character. I will say I was low-key inspired by both Rainbow Dash and Ryuko. It's just the difference is that they're not actually jerksus. I think they're literally just tomboys. This one is my least favorite. I feel like her form is kind of awkward. I feel like if I could draw some of these characters again, I would, to make them a little less awkward. Another thing I realized about jerksus, and I wanted to say this for all Marisus, not all Marisus are the main characters. Sometimes they're side characters. Sometimes there are more than one Mary Sue in a story, and sometimes they intertwine, and I actually will come back around to that later in the video. But I'm saying this because I've actually seen specifically jerksus before, not cool girl boss characters that are rough and tough and tomboys, but legit jerksus in stories before, in a story that has another type of Mary Sue in it at the same time. And I actually worked a really long time on this because I was struggling to make her appealing to me, that is. I was adjusting it so much and I literally could not decide on whether or not I wanted a portrait or landscape. Alright, so that's my jerksu. But moving on. Sympathetic Sue. You probably have seen this the most out of all of them. So this Sue is in just about all creepypasta fanfictions. Just about. I can also see them in reverse harems. That's when the main character is a girl and she has a lot of male love interests, or just two. But let me remind you, anyone of any gender identity can be a sympathetic Sue or a Mary Sue period and can fit into any of these stereotypes. Sad life, parents hate them, or they died, pet that they had died, grandma dead, best friend betrayed them, or dead, or they were terrible. Everyone at the school hates them and bullies them. You get the picture. Sometimes they have issues that are too real and I feel like the author is projecting, and genuinely I hope they're okay. But the issue with the sympathetic Sue is that the issues don't line up at all. Why does everyone else think they're ugly, but conveniently the love interest doesn't? Why is the character a demon child, and why is it never answered? Why does every new character after the backstory is established think that the character is amazing, but every character before that doesn't? Why? On top of that, usually we're stuck worrying about this character instead of the others. I guess this is fine if you have a fan fiction, since most of the characters have already been established. But if not, this is a terrible thing to only focus on, and honestly, if you have a sympathetic Sue, just chuck it. Honestly, I mean, if you give your character a sad backstory, that's fine, but I don't think a sympathetic Sue is the way to go with this one. Sympathetic Sue is not interchangeable with any of the other Sues. But I can definitely see a sympathetic Sue also turning into a jerk Sue. The other character's job should be to be a vessel to take care of and soothe the Sue. We end up focusing on this character and not the others. And even if the reasons for the Sue's feelings are valid, it becomes annoying and people start seeing this character as such. What I did with this sympathetic Sue is I was heavily, and I mean heavily, inspired by the mid-2000s. The scene, the sad, soft girl, emo, whatever you want to say. Like, just alt-fashion. She's actually really cute. This is back when we said, oh my gosh, XD, smexy, all that stuff. And it's weird that I'm saying this because I know like a lot of millennials did that, but I was in middle school and that's when I got access to the internet for real, so. But anyway, this was inspired by like DeviantArt Mary Sues in the mid-2000s, because a major stereotype with Mary Sues back then was neon, brightly or multicolored hair. And the character designs were awful, which honestly was fine because most of these Mary Sues were made by children. So I mean, what can you do? Actually a lot of Mary Sues took a boom when Undertale came. I remember that. I remember all of the copycat Sues of Sam. Next we have the relationship Sue, and there's not much to really say. This is a Mary Sue that isn't actually a main character. I don't think they could be a main character. I don't think there's a way to make them a main character. Their sole purpose is to be another character's significant other. Y'all don't hate me please. I love Vivzy Pop's work. However, Vaggie and Millie low-key fit under this. For Millie, I feel like they are gradually growing her as a character, but to me it feels like the hell of a cast are our friends and Millie is just Moxie's wife. I feel like I don't know enough about Millie to call her my friend or even an acquaintance. She is just Moxie's wife to me. The amount of information feels like when you see your friend's significant other once in a blue moon. At least we've seen enough of her personality to know that it has different angles showing that she is a person. And then there's Vaggie. I don't hate or dislike Vaggie because I feel nothing. Vaggie feels like the significant other that Charlie talks about, but we never meet her. I have a very minimal opinion on her. What are her likes? Her dislikes? Helping Charlie is a like. Charlie's feelings being hurt is a dislike. What about stuff that doesn't circle back around to Charlie, like at all, before she met Charlie? I would like to know more about Vaggie, I really do. Does she miss home? What hobbies does she have other than Charlie and fighting? Can we even call fighting her hobby at all? All we know is that she is a protective girlfriend, and the spoiler that I won't say here. I thought this came out really cute, and I wanted to incorporate another Sue into this because I feel like Jerk Sue would hate this character because, again, Jerk Sue is a pick-me. While also hating men. Is she lesbian? I don't know. Can a pick-me be a lesbian? Maybe. I think that she just came out really pretty, and that was kind of my intent because, I mean, she doesn't really do anything wrong, and if she did, it's like the audience would never know because we don't really know much about her. She's kind of just there, but like not there enough to like actually know what's going on. And when she is there, it's like she kind of keeps to herself or her significant other. It took me a really long time to do the braids because I still haven't got that down pat, but I really do like drawing braids. Color palette, as you can see, was really simple. Just red, pink, and peach, I guess? I don't really know what to call that. The hearts in her pupils were just there to signify that she is strictly for romance. That is it. She is supposed to look cute on screen. That's pretty much it. And I just kind of went crazy with her hair because I really like her. I think when you see my drawings, you can tell which character I had the most fun with. I guess here it does look like that Jerk Sue has a crush on her, low-key. And that was not my intention at all. But, you know, it's fine. I'll keep it this way. Okay, so going on to our lemon stew. I don't like the lemon stew at all. No, this is not a delicious lemon stew that has lemons as its primary ingredient. I don't even think this is delicious at all. I realize the term lemon is not used a lot anymore in fanfiction, so let me explain. Lemons and limes in fanfiction are explicit and sexual content in the fanfiction. Lemons are just more descriptive. This stew usually is a stew, i.e. it's usually a guy. He is a Casanova that, I'm sorry, but the article called him a predator. He can womanize any woman he finds attractive. Even if they hate him, even if he's actually an asshole. You and none, doesn't matter. In a relationship, so what? You a lesbian, you're bisexual, and he wants your girlfriend. You're actually a guy. If there's a hole, there's a goal. I've actually seen this with male and female stews. There was a comic on Webtoon that I read that was like that, but the main character was a girl. I think it was the Princess Jules, but I will double check just to make sure. Main character was collecting men like candy, and surprise surprise, some of them weren't fond of it. However, I think she made it clear from the get-go that she didn't want a monogamous relationship. But that isn't the issue, is it? The issue is with one character. One of the jewels didn't even want to be a jewel. She didn't care though, and fantasized about breaking him, if you know what I mean. She only felt bad when he almost got assaulted by someone else. I wonder if she'll rethink anything she's done. I mean, the creators got cancelled, so never mind. Anyway, you can find this stew in isekais and older animes and hentais. They're usually misogynistic though, and of course people will call these characters out in universe only to be ignored or screwed, literally. So the first thing I worked on were the bars because he's in jail. Most of the time I see that he is a CEO. He's usually rich. Of course, remember, one size doesn't always fit all. I mean, whatever the phrase is, I can't think of it right now. It is 3 a.m. But usually they're CEOs, so I want to show that he has money. So the watch, the outfit, I guess. I didn't even want to give him eyes because I didn't want to make him too attractive because it's like, it's kind of gross. He's kind of gross. Obviously, I kept the yellow, and most of it is like black and white and gray colors to show how quote-unquote traditional he is. But of course, I'm gonna have the yellow for the lemon. And honestly, I was impressed with myself. I kind of started to play around with stuff, I will admit. But I think it came out nice. I think the lighting was really nice. I don't think any of the stews, like if I put all of them together, I feel like all of them would collectively dislike Lemon Stew. Next up, we have the villain 2. I honestly... Okay, so morally speaking, I don't like Lemon Stew. Writing perspective, I don't like Einstein Stew. I dislike the villain Stew as much as I dislike the Einstein Stew. Stories where the villain is the main character and wins are complex, sophisticated, refined, emotional, and the writing is immaculate. Obviously, the story comes from a morally gray area. Then you have the villain Stew. The Stew is bad because they wanna. No reason to really make a story because there are no twists and turns. They're gonna win. The character that's gonna win no matter what, with no help, is no fun to see. You remember that rant that I had about Einstein Stew? That's because they're also not interchangeable. An Einstein Stew and a villain Stew at the same time. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Godmother is another name. What is a godmother? Well, remember when I was talking about the kids playing pretend? It's literally that. And I know the D&D community hates this. It's hard to progress a story with someone trying to take control and put attention on a character that nobody likes. Anyway, the drawing segment. I actually had a lot of fun making this character because I wanted to base it off of religion because, I mean, the way how a villain suit is, they might as well just be God. Because, I mean, like, what's the point of just egging us on by making them mortal and whatnot? Like, why would you do that? Obviously, bro is in space. Bro is literally God. He's in space and is God. I don't even want to give him a face. He has colors as a face.
Yo, is that Bibski?
Last but not least is the parody Sue. That is the only Sue that I like. Just as the name suggests, it's a parody of a Mary Sue, found in crackfics, skits, comics, and honestly short trendy animations. Teruhashi from Psyche K is a perfect example of this. Too much of anything is bad, but Teruhashi is honestly the best example for this. Like, it kind of plays into like, oh, she's a perfect pretty girl, like, but it doesn't make sense, and Psyche is always calling it out, like, what's going on? But that was short because, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. She's a parody of a Mary Sue, so she's gonna have Mary Sue elements. It's just a lot of people, or maybe even one person who's usually the main character, notices this, or maybe she is the main character and she's the only one who notices this. But let's go into our drawing segment. I wanted to use Einstein Sue as inspiration for her character design because I wanted to show that she was, personality-wise, stark contrast to him. She's very friendly, she's nice, everybody loves her, and she is very, very modest. I'm not saying that Einstein Sue can't be modest. An Einstein Sue, modest or not, I'm still gonna find it annoying. I wanted to pull a Psyche K. I guess in this instant, the Einstein Sue is Psyche K. They are hiding from Parody Sue because Parody Sue doesn't make sense to them, and she is probably in love with them, not gonna lie. But the colors, as you can see, are literally the opposite of the Einstein Sue. They're majority purple with specks of green, while she is majority green with specks of purple. And just like Psyche K, I can imagine like them like constantly running into each other, to Einstein Sue's dismay. She's always looking for them, either trying to be their friend or be their significant other. I did add I'm not even that good at magic, to be honest, because I remember years ago somebody made a skit where they were talking about Mary Sue. They never said Mary Sue, but it was very obviously Mary Sue. that it was just like, oh, I'm not even good at playing the piano, and then they're playing Mozart, they're playing Rush E. Alright, these are my Mary Sues. You can go ahead and pause to see which each of the words say. I do plan on posting them on Tumblr because if you guys don't know already, I stopped using Instagram because of the whole meta thing. I might post them on Twitter. Don't know if I'm going to post them on TikTok yet because I don't know what's going on. It's a lot of uncertainty at the moment. All links are going to be at the bottom to the stuff that I'm currently using, including my Wattpad. And I hope to see you guys in the next video, whichever video that is, and whenever I make that video. If you like this content or like any of my other content, let me know by actually liking the video. If you would like to see more like this, make sure to subscribe, and if there's anything you wanted to say, make sure to comment down below. Don't be shy. See you in the next video. Bye bye.